Happy Sunday, everybody. It is January 4th, 2025, 26. Oh my gosh. I'm still struggling with that one. 2026. And I have a message for you all today. If you don't know me, I'm Mel. I channel messages. I read energy. I remote view and do all sorts of things. If you're interested in a personal reading or energy work, please feel free to check out my link tree for more information. And remember, I will never reach out to you first. So, as you have noticed, for about the last 3 days, I have been bringing to you different types of messages, right? Messages that were directly channeled, but yet that are higher guidance in some form because they come through me and my experiences, not on an individual level, but it's almost as if the spirit team and the higher beings want to shift and the focus of our understanding what's happening around us, okay? What's happening and what we need to know. And anytime this kind of thing happens, that tells me that things are shifting collectively too. So let's keep an eye out for this. So today, I have something else to talk about. And I don't want you to think that I'm not going to be channeling anymore, because that's not true. I'm just going to be sprinkling in to my content whatever comes in this moving forward that is of importance to relay to the collective, okay? And this is not me wanting it. I'm literally being asked to do that. So it is higher guidance in some form or another. Today, I'm going to talk about something that I never thought I would talk about. And when I tell you that I never thought I was going to talk about, I mean that, okay? So a little backstory for context. Over the holidays, I received a spiritual gift from a very, very special person in my life, someone who I care about a lot. And this person is very intuitive, very psychic. And this person was looking for a gift for me. And this person was guided to that particular gift and said, this is what Mel needs. She's going to need this for her work. And it's a very odd gift. Never thought I would get something like this or work with something like this, but nonetheless, this is what I'm going to talk about here today. So what did I receive? Well, I received a scrying mirror. Now, what is a scrying mirror, you ask? For those of you who are not familiar. A scrying mirror is, or scrying in general, is a form of ancient divination that allows you to look at a reflective surface and, look into the future, obtain wisdom and all that stuff. Okay, that's how they used to do it. It's interesting that, this is more of an ancient form of divination. And that part fits me because I have always connected more with ancient stuff, right? I don't connect to modern witchcraft, but I do know that I carry within me knowledge of ancient magic. Okay, so it's very interesting. So anyway, here's the thing. When I opened the gift, I received a visual. And the visual was of a man who was sitting, lounging, comfortably in a chair with his feet up. It was a younger man, on the younger side. I only saw him from the back, sort of from the side profile. And he, like when I say younger, in his 30s probably. And he kept looking at his watch like, he was waiting. I could tell, the energy, and I could sense that he was waiting. So I thought that was strange. When I'm touching this scrying mirror, this guy pops up. Okay, what's with this guy? Anyway, I, didn't get a chance to work with the mirror, and I didn't feel called to work with the mirror. And by the way, it's not a mirror either. It's it's it looks differently. It's a reflective surface, but it's not a mirror in the traditional sense. So I didn't feel called to work with this mirror until yesterday. And yesterday, and having never worked with this kind of thing before, I, of course, begin the process of, asking, okay, show me what to do, my guides and all of that. And just what, because I knew this thing needed to be activated. And so my hands started to go, just like it always do. Those of you who've had energy work sessions with me, you know what I'm talking about. My hands started to fly everywhere, and I knew that I was activating something. And the next thing I know is the same image of this man that I received initially when I touched this, when I unpacked the gift or opened the gift. He popped in my mind's eye again, and all I saw him was jump up from his loungy position. And he was like, and he looked like he knew that I was doing something. And I'm like, wait a minute, what? What's that? Right? So I thought that was fascinating at the moment. And it's just the beginning. Okay. You're going to want to listen to this. So I thought, okay, let's keep doing this. And the next thing I know is he was turning towards something that I couldn't see, which I then felt as though his scrying mirror. I don't know, but that's just some kind of a space where he was connecting. All I can tell you is that all of a sudden, through the mirror, energetically, his hand reaches through. Like if he wants to shake hands. And I thought, what? Well, that's weird. And I wasn't going to take his hand, not knowing who he is, but something within me knew that he was safe. Okay, so I grabbed his hand, and that kind of established the energetic connection. And all I heard him say was, finally, finally. And I didn't know what the heck that was all about. Now, this particular person wasn't looking to connect with me specifically, but with someone who was able to do that. Okay, so I just so happened to be the person. Okay, this isn't just a me thing. This happens. I just happen to be the vessel and the person who, he connected with. Now, you may ask, who's this guy and why are you telling us the story? I'll get to it. Okay. As soon as I did that, I reached my hand. I took my hand out. He brought over another female, a younger woman, and sort of introduced himself and her. And the next thing I know, I broke off that connection, and I felt almost as if I needed to go and pull back like some kind of a really, really tough veil. I was pulling it apart. And I looked, and I saw, well, like a ticking time bomb, like a bomb, okay? And like a bomb, and there were people around this bomb. And these people didn't look like someone who builds a bomb. These people looked like they had suits on, and they were, somebody who sits in an office rather than, making bombs. So I think what I saw was, the connection between the two. Not that they were actually visually sitting next to a ticking time bomb or ticking bomb. So the next visual I got was that this bomb, I thought maybe it was symbolic at first, but then this bomb, I got a visual of this bomb being attached to one of the pillars of a bridge. And I didn't know what bridge, because I only saw a brief little, visual of that. And I thought, what kind of bridge is that? Okay, clearly somebody wants to take the bridge out. And it zoomed out, and I could see it. I could see it was the Golden Gate. Okay, San Francisco. And I thought, oh, and then I don't even think that this is the only bomb thing that was attached, but I was meant to understand that something is attached or will be attached. And then the veil closed, right? And I sat there and I thought to myself, what is this all about? And what does this guy have to do with it, right? The connection reestablished between me and this guy. And he says, I've been trying to make connection with someone in your space for some time. And he says, he said that we live in another space. And the space we live in is what you call a dystopian society. And I thought, what? And I thought, okay, so here's someone from a dystopian society connecting with me here in this space. So, and then I get these visuals. So why? Okay, why is this happening? And I said, are you from the future? And he gives me the year 2054. So yes, not too far in it, but 2054. And I want to say, he didn't say he was from another space and time. He only indicated he was from another space, or they were from another space, which I thought was very interesting. I pay attention to those little differences, so those little, tidbits. So anyway, he proceeds to tell me, he said, you in your time, you in your space, you can affect what happens here. And I thought, oh, okay. Because I had told him that his version of Earth is not my version, okay? That is not where I'm going. And that's when he answered with what he said, okay? And I said, okay, well, what do you mean? And he said, you and everyone else can affect what happens so that our time, our space doesn't look like this. And again, I said, well, what do you want us to do? And he points to San Francisco and he said, this is where it begins. This is where it starts. This is where it starts. This is where it starts. He kept saying that over and over again. And I thought to myself, oh, what starts, right? And he was alluding to this whole concept of where his society now was, right? Dystopian. And then I asked him, well, I'm not up on the news or anything, but I do know that there are other places in the world that seem to be worse off than San Francisco at the moment with regard to, and he said, distractions. This is where it starts, he says. Okay, so I'm coming on here today because I want to share this with you. This is like sci-fi stuff, okay? I said this before, but basically in a nutshell, through this scrying mirror, I connected with a person from another time. Oh, and I failed to tell you all that this person said, when he mentioned that they are from this dystopian society, he mentioned that they are part of what we would call the resistance. Go figure that one. Figure that one. So here I'm connecting through this scrying mirror with a person from another space in the future who is telling me to let everybody know that this is where it starts. And by us knowing or paying attention and not allowing us to be hoodwinked or deceived, he believes, and it isn't just a belief, he's like, he knows, I know this. I know that if you and others are aware of some things, that the course that the space takes is different. So even if we don't find ourselves in that space, okay, because I know I won't be in a dystopian society, but I think some people will, okay? And I don't know why that would be our responsibility, because I question that. And I'm just going to say this here. I actually questioned and I said, well, why is that my responsibility? This is your and I don't mean to be selfish here, but if your society is more on a third dimensional level, right? But here's the thing. This is about humanity. This is about not just us who are in the fourth and fifth dimensional spaces or beyond. This is about humanity as a whole. We are getting a glimpse at something that potentially is on the horizon for some people. And it's not meant to scare you, because it didn't scare me, but I think it's more a preparation of, hey, pay attention to San Francisco and those people there, the city council members, the decisions they make there. Pay attention, okay? I thought that was very fascinating, because if you would have asked me, I would have taken it in another place of the world where I thought maybe the issue was further along, or that, you know, something of that sort would be. No, he's bringing me there. Very, very interesting. Now, how this is going to pan out in the future, and what I'm going to do with this information, and how I'm going to connect with this guy again, and how often, I don't know. Okay, but I have a feeling that my connection with this individual in this other space is going to continue, and that potentially he's going to make me aware of some things that I need to be aware of, that we need to be aware of. Fascinating stuff, if you ask me. So again, this is not your traditional video again, but we are living in different times, and whatever is happening, we need to know so whether we can be prepared. Okay? Listen, let me know your thoughts on what it is that I spoke of today. I know this is really, really odd and bizarre, but I am here to give to you what it is that I'm being guided to do. And if my content and things shift at times, then that is with reason. And I said this before. It doesn't change the fact that I can't channel. I can channel. But if Spirit wants me to get this out to you, then that's what I'm going to do. Okay? Let me know your thoughts, and have a great Sunday.